welcome back to another episode in the kitchen with Angela. Today we are going to be cooking, we're going to fry some lobster tails and make a mushroom and lump crab meat risotto. So if you'd like to see how I make that, just keep watching. Of course, you know how we start everything off with a glass of wine. We cook better when we feel better. So I'm sipping on some red wine today as I'm cooking. Turn on the stove to get some oil heated up. So let me grab the oil. I did forget to grab the oil. Let me grab that real quick. And we're going to pour some oil in here and let it start heating as we start some other things, because this is going to take a minute to heat up and we need hot oil. I'm just using some canola oil, which is pretty much what I use if I'm frying something. I don't do a lot of frying, but every now and then I want to treat myself. And this is a treat today. So we are going to have a fried lobster tail. So let's just get enough oil in it, because we're kind of deep frying it. There we go. So that's going to take a little bit to heat, and then we're going to get our risotto going. So in another pan here, I am going to put in some olive oil. You know I cook with that. That's my jam. Olive oil will coat the pan. I'm going to push this camera back so you can kind of see. I have everything laid out here, but I feel like I'm too close. So let me try to push this back and get everything. Can you see better? So I'm going to do olive oil and then a little bit of butter. And the butter is for the flavor. So you don't have to do butter, but I'm just going to do a little bit for flavor, because that adds a little extra flavor to the risotto. So basically what we're doing first with the risotto is I've chopped up this was a large scallion. So if you don't, I'm sorry, not scallion, a shallot. If you don't like a lot of oniony flavor, use a small one or half of one. This is a whole scallion, which was about this big, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let that saute in here. Grab my little wooden spoon to stir it around. And I like to season in layers. I think I said that before. So as I put each thing in, I just put a little seasoning in there, and just some basic seasoning, salt and pepper, just a little bit, because like I said, I'm seasoning in layers. Then we're going to add our mushrooms in. I keep my mushrooms in a little steel tight container. It is steel tight because I couldn't get it. Because I wash them, and you know, when I get it from the store, I wash everything and just put it in an airtight container. So we'll get our mushrooms in, which I have to put on the list. Go back to the store and get some more mushrooms. So we're just letting this saute in the pan. All the while this is getting hot. I did cut up some scallion as well. I only cut one scallion, and I don't need this because I have the shallots, but I wanted a little hint of green in here to make it seem like I'm having some green, because I don't have any green vegetables. So I just put that in to give a little green to it. I feel like you're not eating healthy if you don't have any green. I don't know. Call me weird or crazy, whatever you want to call me. No, not whatever you want to call me. Garlic, of course, you know I put this on everything. And you have to watch your garlic because it does burn if you don't let it, if you don't watch it. So while that is going, nicely, let me show you how I prepared my lobster tail, which I've already done. I cut it, I used some kitchen shears, cut the back, and then just pulled the meat out and put it on top like that. So that's how we're gonna fry it. If you don't like these little critter things, you can cut those off. I don't worry about it because I'm just gonna eat the inside. I'm not eating this, but some people just don't like to see it. But that's how I prepared that and have it ready to go. No one yet has invented smell-o-vision, but it needs to be, because it smells good. And it's probably just the garlic and the shallots that is making it smell so good. You just kind of let that go. And I probably would say maybe a good 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. Just let it go a few minutes. Because it's going to cook some more. I would say 3 minutes. Because it's going to cook more once you put the rice and everything in. I do use short grain rice because, let's see, hold on. There we go. I like the short grain, and I told you I don't normally measure, but I did measure the rice for you. This is 1 cup of rice, and if you can see, it is the short grain, because that's what you're going to use for risotto. I mean, it cooks better to me for risotto. I mean, use what you have, but when I make risotto, I do like the short grain. So I go ahead and put that in here. And just let it start kind of toasting a little bit. And mix it in with that mushroom and the scallions and shallots. Just let it toast. Let that olive oil coat all of it. Like such. Then you can add some white wine. I would use a dry wine. I don't have any white wine because I drink red. But I do have some white cooking wine. So I'm going to use the cooking wine and put in here. And I would say maybe 1/4 cup. But again, I don't measure. I just kind of eyeball things and pour as I feel like it is. That's heating over there. Rice is toasting. Kitchen is smelling good. So we're going to pour about maybe 1/4 cup. Yes, that might have been 1/4. Let that mix in. Now with risotto, that's a rice you're gonna have to constantly stir. Keep adding liquid, stir. Add more liquid, stir. I mean, it's a process. Sometimes my risotto turns out good, sometimes it don't. But today we're gonna pray for the best. I mean, it's always delicious. Sometimes it's just not restaurant style risotto, but the flavors are there, and I guess that's what's important. Sometimes we do eat with our eyes, but when you're hungry, you're gonna eat what we cook over here. And again, we kind of layer flavors, so we go ahead and put a little more seasoned salt in here. Garlic powder. And a little black pepper. So we got that seasoned, and you have to keep stirring for risotto. It's smelling good and looking good. I'm only making a small amount because we're not going to eat leftovers. We're going to eat this today, and that's it. Because sometimes I make so much food and it's like I have so much left over and we don't eat it. So, oh, I got flour on me. But we don't eat it, so, you know, I'm trying to cook for two. It's hard when you're used to cooking for, you know, family, but my kids used to come over for Sunday dinner. They don't come over anymore. I mean, since they're all grown with their own little place and they cook their own meals. And so I'm learning how to cook just for me and my husband. So we're going to add probably 3 cups of chicken stock in there. You know, like I said, I don't measure. I just pour. But we're going to add a little at a time. Maybe I should measure so I don't, but you just add a little bit and stir, and then let that work. Let it work. It's looking good, it's smelling good. I'm going to check my oil. Put a little more chicken stock in here. Stir. Turn that down and just let it simmer for a little bit, and then we'll come back. I'm going to check my oil over here, see if it's ready for my lobster tail. So let me put my lid on here. Go over here and check my oil. I was sipping some water and wine because I need some water in my life too. I don't just drink. This is how you test your oil. Little water. Listen for it's a little sizzle, but I like a little more sizzle. So it's almost ready. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get my lobster tail ready. And I'm going to season it with some Old Bay, little Cajun seasoning, and a little lemon pepper. Okay, and then let me grab my gloves because I think I want to use gloves for this. Okay, so what I like to do is season both sides because you're going to eat the entire lobster tail. So you want both sides seasoned. So I season the front and then I lift up the meat and season underneath. Then I rub the seasonings through. And then also what I do is I like to put some of the season in the buttermilk because we dip it in buttermilk. So I'm going to put some of the Cajun seasoning in the buttermilk, some lemon pepper in the buttermilk, and some Old Bay. Because of course you know you have fallout once you start dipping. Just mix that around. You can put some in your flour too if you like. Okay, so I am seasoning my meat. And like I said, I do both sides. I rub the seasoning in to make sure it's on every part, because every piece I bite, I want to taste some flavor. I think my pan should be about ready. I'm going to do another check in a second. But then I'm going to check my... There we go. So like I said, we rubbed all the seasonings in. Let's do one more check. Get a little water. I think we're ready. We can go ahead and start dipping. But let me check my risotto. It's ready for some more liquid in here. So you just, like I said, add liquid, stir, add liquid, stir. Add liquid, stir, add liquid, stir. All right, let's put the lid back on and let this liquid absorb some. And go ahead and start dropping our crab, lobster. So we'll dip this in some buttermilk. Like I said, our buttermilk is seasoned. And then we're going to dip it in the flour. And like I said, you can put seasoning in your flour too, just to make sure it's fully seasoned. I want to drop them both at the same time, so I'm going to just dip it. And then make sure you get that back side with the flour too. Drips it off. It's all coated. And I'll just sit it here and wait till this other one gets dipped and ready. So I can drop them both at the same time. Dip in the buttermilk. And get it all over the meat. And then back in the flour. Well, not back in. This is a new one. So we'll dip it in the flour. Both sides. All right, so our meat is ready, and we're gonna go ahead and drop them. And I drop mine meat side down because this is gonna cook. I don't need to cook this because I'm not eating it. I want to cook the meat. So I drop it meat side down and let it start frying. There we go. And let me clean up this mess. You know, seafood don't take long to cook. So keep your eye on it. Check on my risotto. Add some more. I smell the wine in here. It smells good. Add some more liquid. Let it go. Put the lid back on it and let it cook some more. And then I'm going to check my lobster because I said it doesn't take long. It does not take long to fried seafood. But we do want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. I just want to look at it, let you see it, how it's looking. So when you start seeing like a white come through, that's when we know it's done. And then it's going to start floating. That is going to be good, good, good. Let me get a plate with some paper towel to sit this on, so when it comes out, I can have, you know, something ready for that. But meanwhile, I'm going to clean up my mess. Just took my lobster out of the oil, have it sitting on a little napkin to get some of the oil out. Risotto is looking pretty darn delicious over here. So now I'm going to add just a little bit more chicken stock, and then we're going to add the crab. And I use the lump crab meat. Because I like to have big chunks in there. And we add this last because it's pretty much already done, the crab meat. So we're just adding the lump. Ooh, this is going to be so good. Add these lump crab meat in here. So we just kind of letting it heat. And then one more little thing of chicken stock as it heat. And then what sets it off is a little bit of Parmesan cheese. So we're going to add just a little bit of Parmesan cheese on it. And then we can start plating. I'll show you how it's going to look. Plate it. Because I'm sure my husband is ready to eat. He's smelling the food in here. And it's like once you start smelling it, you're ready. Yeah, this is delicious. So that is mushroom and crab risotto with fried lobster. And how we're going to serve it up, I'm going to plate it up for you and show you, because it is done. How we plate it up, we're going to put it in the little bowl here. Get this out the way. You always clean up after yourself. Grab a nice spoon so I can get a good heaping of risotto. Place a good amount at the bottom. I'm making my husband's plate, so he'll get majority of it. And all that good lump crab meat in there. Lobster, crab risotto. With the fried lobster tail. And let me tell you, to make everything look good, normally fresh parsley is good, but I'm going to use some dry parsley, and that gives it that little presentation, make it look like it's something more than what it is. Look at there. Like I said, I'm not putting a lot. It's just that these holes are so tiny on this little shaker. You have to shake a lot. But look at here. Mushroom and crab risotto with the fried, my lobster fell out, fried lobster tail. Doesn't that look good? All right. Thank you guys for stopping by, tuning in, watching another Cook With Me video. I'm getting ready to serve my husband dinner, and I'll see you in the next video. Be blessed. Bye.